Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If transmigrated into One Piece and became a Marine. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 171, 4th Phase. I will go, Blaze spoke and came forward before the others could decide. Blaze. Gon looked at him. Are you sure? Kurapika asked. Nothing to worry about, they are just a bunch of criminals. Blaze walked to the stage at the center while his opponent did the same. Now, let us determine the method of combat. I propose a death match. Ben proposed. No problem. Can we start? Blaze nonchalantly agreed, but Gon, Kurapika, and Rio were dismayed. Will Blaze be okay? Rio asked. You guys don't know him well. None of the criminals aren't his opponents. Killua uttered as he knew Blaze's strength to some extent. Ben didn't rush to attack, he studied Blaze. His opponent's untroubled and composed look rang warnings in his mind. He could tell Blaze didn't take him seriously, as the latter didn't put any guard against him, as if he knew he would win. This kind of confidence made him uneasy. Gritting his teeth, Ben decided to attack, as he has no other choice and can't give up. The next moment, he leaped high in the air and came at Blaze. He aimed for his throat. Facing his attack, Blaze stood without any care in the world. Swoosh! Blaze simply waved his hand when Ben was centimeters away from his gripping throat, and the latter's head flew in the air while his headless body dropped to the ground. There was pin-drop silence, as no one except Killua understood how Ben was killed. Under the astonished gaze of everyone, Blaze calmly walked back to his team's side. Killua looked at Blaze in terror, as only he saw clearly what happened at that moment. Blaze waved his hand at an extreme speed, generating some sort of wind blade that severed Ben head. The criminals on the side came out of their daze. They looked at Blaze with fearful expression and at the same time felt relieved that they don't have to face him. Inside the monitoring room, Lippo similarly witnessed what happened. Just like others, he too didn't see how Blaze killed Ben. He's strong. The next prisoner is Sudokan, who has been sentenced to 149 years for serial bombings. Gon volunteered to face him. I will go. Like in the series, Sudokan proposes a match to see whose candle burns the longest. Gon chooses the longer candle, unaware no matter what candle he chooses it's going to burn faster. Thanks to his quick thinking and reaction, Gon kept his candle on the floor and sprinted towards Sudokan to blow his candle out. Just like that, he won. Unlike in the series, they won both matches without much effort. They just need to win another one to advance to the next round. But instead of Manchtani, who was supposed to face Kurapika, Jonas the serial killer came forward. His appearance alerted Rio, who seemed to know about him. We should give up this match? Rio suggested. Just as Kurapika thought of going forward to face him, Blaze stopped him. Killua, you go. Why are you asking Killua to fight him? Rio asked. There's no need for him to risk his life. We already won 2 matches. Just watch. Killua didn't mind fighting him, so he walked to the platform and faced Jonas. How are we settling the contest? Killua directly asked with his hands inside the pocket. Jonas replied. Contest? You seem to be confused. This will be a one-sided massacre. I have no interest in the exam or any offer of pardon. I just want to hear you scream. Really? Okay. Then the loser is the one who dies. Killua proposed. Jonas looked amused and agreed. The next moment, before Jonas can even make a move or speak, Killua ripped his heart out in an instant without any effort, shocking everyone present. What? Jonas was confused and felt cold. When Killua showed his beating heart, the latter pleaded to give his heart back, but in a matter of seconds, he was dead. Killua's win put the score at 3-0. They won the contest without losing any match. A small path suddenly appeared as soon as they won. The path didn't directly lead them to the finish line, they were forced to cross various hurdles to reach the bottom of the tower. After many obstacles, they all arrive in a small room with 2 doors. They encounter a very difficult choice. The first is to choose the door with an O mark that allows 5 to pass, but is long and difficult, while the second is to choose the door with the X mark that is short and easy, which requires only 3 minutes but only allows 3 to pass. This time, Lippo told them the long path will take more than 70 hours to reach. His sentence is basically forcing them to fight each other. I am choosing O. Gon was determined while others also followed his choice. As soon as they choose, the long and difficult road opened. Actually, we don't have to travel the long one since the short is just on the other side. Saying this, Blaze touched the brick wall. We can destroy the wall with the weapons in that room. Gon's eyes brightened. No need. Blaze placed his palm on the wall and released his nin, which directly destroyed the wall. Wow. Let's go. In the monitoring room, Lippo looked at the destroyed wall in shock as he knew how deep and hard the wall is. Even if they used a weapon, it would have taken 1 hour for them to dig it. But now, it was destroyed with a single blow. He's dangerous. Using the short path, they directly reached the finish line. In the final space, they saw Hisoka, Gitaraker, and Hanzo. We finally reached. Leorio exhaled. They all have passed the 3rd phase of the Hunter exam, they just need to wait for the remaining time before moving to the 4th phase. After 70 hours, they exited the Trick Tower along with other Hunter applicants who passed the 3rd phase. Finally, there were 25 candidates. As soon as they came out, Lippo greeted and congratulated them. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations on passing the 3rd phase of Hunter exam. Only the 4th phase and final one remaining. The 4th phase will take place on Zevil Island. He pointed at the island behind them. The next moment, an examiner comes with a wheeled table with a box on it. Lippo then told them they need to draw lots to determine who will hunt and who will be hunted. Lippo then called them to draw the lots in the order they exited the tower. Hisoka is first, followed by Illumi and Hanzo. The 4th one is Blaze. He went forward to draw the lot which was sealed, concealing the information within it. Once everyone drew the card, Lippo spoke. Everyone took the card? Now, remove the seal from your card. As everyone looked into the card, Lippo revealed the application of the card. The card indicates the target. As soon as he said it, everyone hurriedly hid their own ID tag. The box has recorded which card was drawn by who. The objective is to steal your target's badge. Naturally, you are allowed to use any method you choose to steal ID tags, including killing your target and taking the tag off from the corpse. Lippo continued. Listen carefully. Your target's ID is worth 3 points. Your own ID is also worth 3 points. All other ID tags are worth 1 point. You will need 6 points in total to advance to the final phase. So, in Zevil Island you have to collect 6 points to advance to the next phase. After that, all of them entered a small steamboat that took them to Zevil Island. On the boat, Blaze looked at the number tag in his hand, 301. He knew it's Illumi's ID tag number. My luck is good. I thought it would be boring. After 2 hours, the boat reached Zevil Island. The 4th phase of the Hunter exam began. Chapter 172, Little White. Zevil Island. Blaze exited the boat 2 minutes after Hanzo and walked in the direction his target, Illumi, went. It didn't take long for him to find and reach the location of Illumi. He found the latter in a forest-covered region, situated in the center of the Zevil Island. As I thought, I am your target. I guess my luck is bad today. Illumi spoke as he removed the pins from his body, while his appearance returned to normal. From his words, it's easy to guess that he was clearly waiting for Blaze here. I heard from Hisoka that you are very strong. If even he says so, I think you are not an easy one to fight. Killua is completely unlike you. Considering his natural talent, it won't take long before he surpasses you. Blaze shook his head. Since you know you are my target, are you going to hand your tag or do I have to take it myself? You know Killua is my brother? Illumi asked. Though it's not some secret, not many know about the Zoldyck family details. It's not much of a secret. Blaze shrugged and asked, are we doing it or not? Hisoka, how long are you going to hide? Come out. You know? Illumi asked without any change in expression. Blaze smiled. When I got the target number, I purposely looked at you 2 times so that you notice my target is you. And, I know you would team up with Hisoka. Fighting you alone would be boring, with Hisoka it would be slightly interesting. Hisoka came from behind the tree and looked at Blaze. You are so confident of yourself. Trust me, when you reach my level you would understand my state of mind, Blaze spoke and snapped his fingers. The white coat he wore suddenly disrobed on its own and transformed into a small cloud. Little White, teach them a lesson. If you defeat them both without my help, I will give you a drop. As soon as Little White heard his words, it seemed to be excited. Seeing its enthusiasm, Blaze chuckled and jumped onto the nearby tree branch to watch the show. Little White divided itself into 2 parts and further transformed into a faceless human form with an athletic figure and height reaching 6 feet. Illumi and Hisoka looked at the human cloud in wonder and astonishment. They knew if they want to get to Blaze, they need to take care of it first. Both of them attacked at the same time intending to destroy it. But, will it be so easy? For your information, Little White is an intelligent creature. It has its own life aura. Blaze notified with goodwill. He wasn't exaggerating with the statement. In fact, it took him some time to figure out the true capabilities of Little White that's made with 5 drops of his god's blood. Blaze knew God's blood isn't some simple energy that just enhances his physique or improves his strength upon burning. It's fascinating energy with many mystical properties. Since he has no guidance, he had to experiment and find its innate characteristics on his own, so even now, he doesn't know the full capabilities of his god's blood. As Illumi and Hisoka rushed to attack, Little White activated its run. Seeing the run, Illumi and Hisoka stopped on their tracks as the pureness and quantity of the aura is almost on par with them. At that moment they knew, the fight isn't going to be an easy one. But, if they get entangled with the cloud thing and consume their strength, how will they take out Blaze? Illumi and Hisoka looked at each other, coming to an agreement. The next moment, Hisoka went forward to block the 2 bodies of Little White while Illumi rushed towards Blaze. It's not that easy, Blaze chuckled seeing their little antics. Little White has been with him for 2.5 years. Since it's intelligent, it learned Nin and trained with him. It won't be easy to get past or defeat Little White. One of the Little White bodies easily blocked Hisoka and another one went to obstruct Illumi from advancing forward. Hisoka's punched Little White in frustration, coating his fist with Nan, but to his astonishment, his arm passed through without making any contact. Before he could retrieve his hand, the gaseous form of Little White solidified, locking Hisoka's arm in place. The next moment, a fist swirling with lightning struck his face and sent him flying back. Hisoka's figure banged into the tree trunk and slid to the ground while smoke emanated from his body. The feeling of being struck with lightning isn't good, as Hisoka's entire body tingled with pain. At the same time, Illumi's figure smashed into the tree next to Hisoka. Though he wasn't struck by lightning, he was punched in the face with a hardened fist of Little White. Rising to his feet, Hisoka spoke. That thing isn't weaker than us, but its ability is weird. It can turn gaseous, solidify and emit lightning. I don't know what other abilities it has. It seems we won't be able to destroy it without revealing our strength. Let's do it. Illumi too rose his feet while countless needles with yellow top appeared in his hand. Illumi and Hisoka once again fought 2 forms of Little White. An hour passed. Though Little White is strong, it couldn't fight them both by dividing itself into 2. After a few minutes into the battle, Illumi and Hisoka got accustomed to the fighting style of Little White and began to counterattack. After an hour of resistance, Little White couldn't hold anymore as its entire body was torn into countless fragments by Illumi and Hisoka. Knowing it's time, Blaze waved his hand. Little White was magically teleported to his side along with the countless shredded fragments that were ripped from its body. Then, the torn fragments fused into Little White, transforming it back into the original shape. Still, it looked deflated, wasting too much energy and life aura. Sensing its depressing emotion, Blaze comforted and said, "Don't worry, you fought well. It's your first actual fight, after all, it's not that bad to lose. I will give you a drop for your effort." But Blaze's word didn't seem to comfort it in the least. With silence, Little White transformed into the white robe and equipped itself on Blaze to rest. He knew it won't be easy for Little White to win Illumi or Hisoka. The reason why he let it fight them is to get experience and develop on its own. "Okay. You guys earned the right to fight me. Shall we start?" Blaze asked while gazing at Illumi and Hisoka. Chapter 173, God's Domain. Blaze stood with his hands folded. As for Illumi and Hisoka, they pushed their nun to the peak and then enveloped the entire body with 10 ready to handle any situation. Seeing their cautious stance and expression, Blaze knew they won't make any move without any provocation. So, he activated his nin ability, God's Domain. The next moment, an overpowering ren erupted from his body and extended to nearly 500 meters. Then, he further used his 10 to shape the aura. The reason why he gave the name God's Domain is because he's pretty much invincible within the range of his Un. His In is different from others as he changed his aura into solar energy. In a few seconds, his aura will start to increase the temperature within the 500-meter circle. Furthermore, he created this nin ability with the base of his sun fruit. Within the domain, he can pretty much use all his sun fruit abilities. Opposite to him, Illumi and Hisoka's expression turned to the worst when they felt his overwhelming run. It's completely on another level. Blaze sent a punch in an upward motion similar to uppercut. The next moment, bang, a force hit Hisoka's jaw, who was some meters away from him, and sent him flying in the air. Before his body could touch the ground, Hisoka was magically teleported right in front of Blaze, who kicked him once again clearly in the face. The power behind the kick directly knocked Hisoka unconscious and smashed him far away. Though he didn't use any special kind of skill or Blaze didn't hold back his strength. He had to commend Hisoka for his reaction. The latter used his bungee gum and can just before the point of impact to reduce the damage. Still, he couldn't resist Blaze's blow from knocking him unconscious. After dealing with Hisoka, Blaze set his sight on Illumi. Coming from the Zoldyck household, he is pretty strong, being trained from a young age by a powerful nin master. There's no need to say anything about his combat skills as he's proficient in hand combat and assassination. In Blaze's eyes, Illumi is a tad bit stronger than Hisoka. Still, it's no way near to entertain him. Maybe, if it's his grandfather Zeno, he may put some struggle. On the other hand, Illumi watched Blaze's every action attentively as he couldn't even react or comprehend how Hisoka was beaten. His instinct is screaming at him to run far away as fast as possible or he will die, but Illumi forcibly held his thoughts and stayed put. He wants to fight. Blaze smiled and extended his left hand in a grabbing motion. Seeing his movement, Illumi's body went on high alert, but some kind of unknown energy forcibly surrounded his body. He could do nothing to stop it. The next moment, to his astonishment, he was teleported and was held by the neck. Blaze clutched Illumi's neck tightly and looked at the latter in playful expression. To others, you guys may be strong, but to me, you are just ant that I can squash anytime I want. Uttering the words, Blaze punched Illumi in the face. Though the latter tried to block the attack by crossing his hands, it did nothing as Blaze's punch ignored his defense and struck him squarely in the nose. Illumi felt dizzy from the impact while a ringing sound reverberated around his ear. With blood dripping from his broken nose and mouth, he looked miserable. Getting his number tag, Blaze tossed Illumi in the opposite direction that he smashed Hisoka and walked away. Though he messed with Illumi and Hisoka, it didn't alter the HXH timeline by much. Blaze picked a good spot at the center of the island and watched the hunt of other applicants with his new sensing ability that he developed that combines his observation haki and transmuted nun. He transmuted his life aura into solar energy and it began to slowly spread the Zevel entire island. One can say it's an enhanced version of his Nin ability God's domain. But it can't be used in the battle as it takes some time to activate. With that, Blaze was able to see everything that's happening on the island. As the temperature of solar energy that Blaze spread is the same as the atmospheric temperature, not even powerful or perceptive Nin masters can detect his spying. Blaze first observed Gon. He located Gon in the northeast direction. The latter was secretly watching the confrontation between Pakal and Q. Gon was amazed at how Pakal masked his presence while stalking his prey and equally impressed that his opponent was able to sense it. Seeing their confrontation gave an idea to Gon how he should approach Hisoka. He then began to practice with his fishing rod, without knowing he's watched by Jiretta. Blaze then searched Leorio, Killua, and Kurapika. None of them met any match, they were just strolling the island looking for the other applicants. After 2 days of training, Gon finally perfected the technique to snatch Hisoka's badge after mastering the art of hunting. Finding that the scent of blood attracts hemotropic butterflies. Gon took advantage of this fact and used hemotropic butterflies to lead him to Hisoka's location. It didn't take long for him to find Hisoka, who was sitting under a tree. As for the injuries Hisoka suffered from Blaze, he covered them with texture surprise. Now, Gon has to wait for the right opportunity. This time, neither Illumi nor his target came to Hisoka. Maybe Blaze's appearance and his actions changed some of the events. A day passed with Hisoka and Gon doing nothing. But, the former finally decided to search for his target and came across Leorio and Kurapika, who already teamed up. After meeting and seeing Leorio and Kurapika's progress, Hisoka was a little excited, making him forget his humiliating loss against Blaze. Hisoka's killing intent suddenly spiked, scaring the nearby animals and frightening Gon very much. The following events went as happened in the original timeline. Hisoka began to search for his next prey while Gon followed. When Hisoka found Agon and was entranced by the thought of killing the latter, Gon acted. With pinpoint accuracy, he stole Hisoka's tag. Watching the scene, Blaze chuckled as this was one of the best scenes in the HXH that he likes very much. To see it in person, he was truly happy. Catching the tag that lands perfectly in his hand, Gon looked at Hisoka and found the latter was staring at him with a gleam in his eyes. Wasting no time, Gon flew from the spot. Chapter 174, End of Hunter Exam. Before Gon can truly celebrate the fact of stealing Hisoka's tag, he suddenly lost control of his body and collapsed to the ground, paralyzed. Jiretta, who was targeting Gon from the beginning, appeared and took both Hisoka and Gon's tag. A moment later, Jiretta's corpse crashed before Gon. When Gon looked above, he saw Hisoka standing over him with a smile on his face, expressing how impressed he was. Everything went as happened in the original timeline. Hisoka dropped Gon's and his own tag and commended Gon for his job before walking away. But, Gon doesn't want that, so he rose to his feet even with paralyzing effect and told Hisoka to take back the tag. Hisoka came back and punched him heavily in the face. "I'll take it back only when you are able to punch me in the face, just like that. Till then, I shall leave the tag with you." Saying this, he walked off. The events seriously affected Gon. He looked lost and dejected even though he got the tag. 7 days passed. An announcement rang: the 4th phase of the exam has just ended. Applicants, please return to the start line point. You will be given 1 extra hour. If you do not return in that time, you will fail the exam. Furthermore, you are not allowed to exchange tags anymore. If found, you will be disqualified. Hearing the announcement, Blaze stood up from his position and walked towards the starting line at a slow pace. When he reached the start line, he saw Hisoka, Illumi, Pakal, Killua, Hanzo, and Badoro. Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio appeared at the end of the time limit. Aside from him being an extra one, there wasn't any change in the list of applicants who passed. After presenting the tags, the 4th phase of the Hunter exam official ended with 10 remaining applicants. After that, all the participants who passed are taken to their next destination. On the airship, Chairman Netero interviewed each examinee and asked them who they look out for and who they least want to fight. When it came to Blaze's turn, he too answered honestly. I keep my eye on number 405. He's a good kid with potential. As for the other question, I don't want to fight 405, 99, 403, and 404, as I see them as my friends. Netero asked. Why do you want to become a hunter? I don't have any interest to become a hunter. I just came here for a fun. Well, having a hunter's license may come in handy. The next day, the 10 remaining applicants arrived at where the final phase of the exam is going to be held, a hotel owned by the Hunter Exam Selection Committee. For the final phase, we will be holding a one-on-one tournament. Chairman Netero explained and revealed the bracket he had drawn. When the others wondered whether only the last person standing is going to pass, Netero denied and spoke. No. One win is all you need to pass. The winners are removed from the bracket while losers continue up. In other words, the person who finishes at the top won't pass. The bracket was the same as shown in the series, except there was one extra line that directly connected to the top, his. Blaze had an amusing expression as it means he will be fighting the final loser. Netero then explained why some applicants have more chances of passing the exam than others and about the 3 criteria: physical strength, mental strength, and overall impression. After the explanation and rules of the fight, the final phase begins with the first match being between Gon and Hanzo. Struggling for hours and using all the tricks under his sleeve, Hanzo couldn't break Gon's spirit and determination. Knowing it's futile, he directly admitted defeat and knocked out Gon. The first fight ended with Gon's victory. There was no change in the following fights until the match between Killua and Gitaraker. Learning that Gitaraker is actually his older brother, Illumi, Killua was shocked and scared at the same time. Killua surrendered in fear of his brother and considered the well-being of Gon. Blaze didn't meddle in the affairs, just silently watched from the sidelines. Afterward, the match between Badoro and Leorio took place. Killua suddenly appeared behind Badoro and killed him, resulting in his disqualification. So, everyone aside from him passed the Hunter exam. With that, the Hunter exam has officially ended. Later, the past applicants were taken to a classroom-styled room and Beans presented the Hunter's license to everyone along with an illustration book of some sort regarding Hunter Association. At that moment, the door to the was smashed open and Gon came. He confronted Illumi and broke his arm in the process while saying he will rescue Killua. After their dispute, Beans officially introduced the use of Hunter's license to everyone. Once everything ended, Gon chased after Illumi while Kurapika and Leorio followed. As for Blaze, he walked towards Netero. Old man Netero, you are going to keep your promise, right? Of course Netero agreed. In truth, he was also thrilled to fight Blaze after knowing how strong the latter is. It's not the right place to battle. We will move to some open ground. Sure. On the side, Menchi, Bohara, Lippo, Saditz, and Beans looked at one another with a look of surprise. That man and Chairman Netero are going to battle? Chairman, are you serious? Saditz asked. It seems so, Netero replied casually. Can we watch it? Menchi asked. I don't mind, Netero said and looked at Blaze. No problem. Blaze too don't mind some spectators. On the other hand, after confronting Illumi again and confirming Killua's location, Gon, Kurapika, and Leorio decided to go to Kokoro Mountain to see Killua. Gon came to ask him but Blaze rejected him as he has an agreement with Chairman Netero. We will meet after some time. Here is my phone number, contact me if you need anything. Blaze said goodbye to Gon and left with Netero. Chapter 175, Blaze vs. Netero. Next day. Blaze, Netero, and others arrived at some unknown island located west of Kukanyu Kingdom. The island is deserted with little to no signs of life as if countless battles had happened here. Is this some kind of battleground where you fight others? Blaze asked looking around. I have indeed battled here for few times but it was long back, Netero answered casually while stretching his body. He wore his favorite heart-shaped t-shirt that he only wears. From this one can discern, Netero takes the fight seriously. Let's start. You guys stay away. Blaze spoke, looking at Menchi, Bohara, Sadits, and Beans. Hearing his words, they looked at Blaze in ridicule. Though they aren't as strong as Chairman Netero, all of them are nin masters with experience. Seeing their looks, Blaze knew what they are thinking. As you wish. Blaze shrugged and released his aura. Blaze's run was vast, imposing, and powerful. It directly blasted the others some meters away. Only Netero stood in the same place unaffected. Feeling the magnitude of his Ren, Netero finally showed an astonished expression while his carefree attitude was long gone. Finally, some worthy opponent. Chairman Netero, I hope you don't disappoint me. You don't know how long I have been craving for a blood-boiling battle. Blaze uttered while his conqueror's haki erupted like a volcano that's suppressed for a long time, even affecting the surrounding. Aside from Netero, the others felt as if someone put a huge mountain on their heads. Without knowing, their knees weakened as if they lost all their strength. What's happening? Beans cried, perspiring heavily. Why the sudden pressure? It directly affects our consciousness. Menchi yelled while her knees hit the ground. The same happened to Buhara. What kind of power is this? Sadit spoke, resisting the haki with all his willpower. Though they were affected by Blaze's haki and their condition isn't in the best state, the fact that they hadn't lost their consciousness is worthy of praise. With Blaze's current level of haki, if their strength and willpower hadn't reached a certain level, they won't be able to stand before him. On the other hand, Netero was surprised and excited at the same time. He too sensed the strange power released by Blaze, but it didn't affect him in any way. As someone who's vastly experienced and seen the world, it didn't take long for Netero to figure out the effectiveness of haki. It seems to affect one's mind, but it varies based on individual. It didn't affect me, is it because I am strong? The next moment, Netero also released his powerful run while thinking. How many years has it been? Finally, someone worthy has arrived. As his goal has always been to find a worthy opponent against whom he could fight with his all. Blaze and Netero stood facing one another, waiting for the other to make the move. The air was heavy with two powerful Ren clashing while the ground beneath them cracked like spider webs. Blaze decided to make the first move as he knew Netero got accustomed to letting his opponent make the first move. He activated his Nin ability, God's Domain, while his Nin reached 500 meters. If Blaze wants, he could increase the range of his N, but it would reduce the might of his skill. Sensing the range of his N, Netero was shocked. I think I am underestimating him. Wasting no time, Blaze smashed his fist at Netero without holding back his strength. Before Netero could comprehend what Blaze is doing by punching from far away, his senses warned him. With an inhuman reaction, he put strength in his legs and jumped back. Landing a few meters away from the original position, he looked at Blaze in astonishment. Just now, his punch reached me. How? Some kind of space technique? No. His Nin ability is somewhat related to his N as he hadn't deactivated it. Netero reacted and thought. At the same moment, Blaze was surprised to see Netero evading the strike. He commented in his heart. Good reflex. He could tell Netero's aura isn't as vast as him, but his Nin is more polished, which can only be obtained with experience and training hard for years. Blaze decided to attack again but didn't use the same trick as he knew it's useless against Netero, who has great perception and reflex. Thinking through, he dashed towards him at full speed. A head-on battle. Netero didn't take Blaze lightly as he formed a prayer sign that left after images. As soon as he clasped his hand, his Nin ability 100 type Guanyin Bodhisattva activated. A multi-armed Nin construct materialized behind him that had the form of a gigantic statue of Guanyin. As everything happened in a split second, even Blaze couldn't follow the speed. Before he could reach Netero, the latter waved his right hand in a slapping motion. The next moment, an overwhelming mighty force came towards Blaze on his left-hand side. It was simply too fast to react as he only had time to channel his aura to the left-hand side for defense. Boom! He was slapped far away by the mighty force without a chance to resist. His body flew with no sign of stopping under the overpowering strength. Blaze knew if he don't do something he would be thrown far away. With a thought, countless chains formed of his heat aura and directly penetrated the ground for support. After the combined aid of thousands of chains, he stopped his body. If not for him being inside God's domain, he would have been thrown further away. I was careless. Blaze muttered and glanced at his left hand, which is completely broken. He could tell the bones inside were shattered in multiple places. In that attack, he saw the vastness of perfection and pinnacle of strength reached by Netero. A kind of awe rose in his heart while he truly began to respect the old man who trained countless years to perfect his technique. The strike showed him how much hard work and dedication that the latter has put in. Chapter 176, The Might of 100 Type Guanyin Bodhisattva. Netero raised his eyebrow in wonder, looking at Blaze's condition. Just a broken hand? It was a direct hit, though. He's tough. On the other side, Beans, Menchi, Bohara, and Sadits were quite amazed at the Netero's nin ability they had witnessed and enthralled by the profound might behind it. At the same time, they were horrified to see Blaze unharmed with just a minor injury after meeting the attack head-on. He's another monster like Chairman Netero. Where did he come from? Sadits muttered. Dusting himself with his right hand, Blaze thought, and the injury on his left hand healed itself and was back to the original state in a matter of seconds. Blaze wasn't in a hurry to launch his next strike. The last encounter showed him everything that he wanted to know and where his current strength lie. His aura is stronger than Netero, but the latter is more powerful when it comes to aura quality, speed, and reflex. If he doesn't find any way to overcome Netero's 100 type Guanyin Bodhisattva, he won't be able to reach him. No wonder even King Maruam, who was superior in strength, struggled to touch Netero. I am going to enjoy this fight. Thinking up to this point, Blaze was fired up while even more powerful Ren exploded out of him, startling everyone. A clear example of Nin getting powerful with extreme emotion. The next moment, Blaze's figure vanished and reappeared on the original spot as he once again stood opposite Netero. Another feature of his Nin ability, he can shit to any spot within God's domain. As Blaze channeled his entire aura to his fist, a translucent golden sphere covered his right hand. Seconds passed, the continuous aura input transformed the golden orb into a miniature sun. As soon as it happened, it began to affect the surrounding. The high temperature showed signs of melting the ground beneath him while an oppressive air spread. The destructive might scared the hell out of Beans, Menchi, Bohara, and Sadits, urging them to run further away from the battlefield. As for Netero, he squinted his eyes seeing Blaze leave his body unprotected to gather his aura on his right fist. Smirking a little, you are underestimating me, young man. Did you believe that I would just stand here and watch you prepare your attack? Uttering the words, Netero changed his stance and clasped his hands in a fluid motion. As he clasped, the Bodhisattva in construct behind him attacked. Third hand. The construct attacked with both hands in a way that was clasping, intending to crush Blaze between two of its hands. As Netero's praying sign didn't even exceed 1/10 of a second, even Blaze with sharpened sense and reflex can't react and respond to his attack. But Blaze's only advantage he has against Netero is his future sight. So, even before Netero clasped his hands, he perceived the attack and prepared his next move. Just before Nin construct could touch his body, Blaze's figure faded and appeared behind Netero. Even with the perfect opportunity, he didn't attack. He waited. As he anticipated, Netero's reaction is also out of the world. The second he appeared behind him, Netero's figure shifted to mid-air as he faced him. At that moment, Blaze punched. He knew Netero will be able to react to the attack without much problem, but what he want to find is how strong his attack is when to compare to Netero. He doesn't have Ant King Maruam's analytical skills, so he can't find Netero's attack pattern and rhythm. His only choice is to attack head-on and win with brute force. As soon as he punched, the surroundings began to distort before a booming sound reverberated, followed by an eruption of golden flames that blazed forward. The force and intensity behind the blow are so high that it incinerated everything in its path and reached Netero within seconds. Under the face of such a strike, Netero looked calm. He took his prayer stance and pushed both his palms forward. 10th hand. As soon as he did that, the nin construct behind him utilized all their hands and pushed forward, blocking the golden flames from advancing further. Bang! Both the strikes collided, triggering a thunderous sound and powerful shockwave. To Netero's astonishment, the hands of nin construct showed signs of burning and cracking under extreme temperature and intense force behind the attack. Ultimately, Netero's construct overwhelmed the flames and destroyed them with a torrent of palm strikes. Impressive! Blaze commented and rushed forward, seeing Netero preparing his next attack. Clasping his hands together and resting his right ankle on his left calf, Netero joined his thumb and index fingers together, making a sign with his hands that looked like the number 99. The next moment, the Bodhisattva nin construct unleashed a torrent of palm strikes with all its arms, in different forms. Even though he saw the future, Blaze couldn't evade all the strikes as one of the palm strikes patted his entire body like a fly and another one smashed his entire body into the ground. Netero's attack didn't stop, as countless strikes hammered him from all directions and pressed him further into the ground, creating a deep pit. This time Blaze didn't foolishly resist the attack with just nin alone, he coated his entire body with armament haki. As a result, he wasn't injured deeply, just some minor scratches, but the barrage of attacks was able to break his nin defense and struck his haki-coated body. If not for his haki, he would have been injured heavily. He's really strong. I doubt I can defeat him even if I use my armament haki anytime soon. It's just how strong Netero's 100-type Guanyin Bodhisattva is. No matter how strong his attack is, if Blaze doesn't find a way to break his nin construct, he can't injure Netero. Chapter 177. Destructive Beam. Netero's attacks didn't even take 1/10 of a second to prepare and complete, from his prayer sign to nin construct attacks. Even Blaze with his extraordinary strength and future sight finds it hard to overcome Netero's attack. He didn't anticipate the latter's nin ability to be this overpowering. Though he's stronger in terms of physical strength and amount of nin, he couldn't touch Netero with his ability. Since it came to this, there's no need to hold back. Thinking through, Blaze flashed before Netero once again, but this time, he used both nin and haki. Reacting to his movement, Netero prepared his attack. The next moment, the nin construct behind Netero made its move and one of its hands slapped at him. Perceiving the attack with his future sight, Blaze teleported outside the range of Netero's Guanyin Bodhisattva and prepared his next move. As Blaze imbued Conqueror haki into his fist, his hand crackled in black lightning. He didn't further enhance them with nin because both haki and nin are of different sources of energy. He once tried to combine them both into his attack, but the result is, he was injured heavily. Natural energy is the only source of energy that makes his haki and nin work together in harmony. Since he doesn't know the way of harnessing the power of natural energy, he can't utilize them in the battle. Meaning, Blaze can only use one type of energy at a time in his attacks aside from simple usages like defense. At the same time, Netero suddenly squinted his eyes when Blaze used his Conqueror's haki. He sensed danger and extraordinary power in Blaze's hand that now crackled in black lightning sparks. I better not let that attack hit me, Netero thought, but the next moment, Blaze disappeared. It's that technique again, he can teleport instantly within the range of his N, but the range of his N is ridiculously long. And, I think it's not his limit. Netero mused and kept his vigilance, ready to attack at any time. Swoosh! Blaze appeared before Netero, but he didn't hurry to attack. He vanished from the spot again and appeared behind Netero. He repeated the process as his figure kept on flashing all over the place. The entire time Netero didn't react to his antics but stood calmly with his hands already in the prayer stance. Though the two of them didn't take the initiative, they were battling mentally. In a span of a few seconds, they exchanged thousands of moves. With his strength, he just need one clear strike to beat Netero, but Blaze knew it won't be easy. After a minute of mind game and perceiving future moves, Blaze stopped flickering from one place to another and appeared opposite to Netero. It's time. He knew the head-on attacks won't work, so he changed the approach. His initial plan is to fight Netero head-on and defeat him with absolute strength, but he didn't expect it to be difficult. After battling with Netero, Blaze got a clear idea of where his strength lie. If his assumption is not wrong, his nen should be as strong as King's 3 royal guards.
You showed the might of your nen ability. It's time I show mine.
Gazing at Netero, Blaze smiled and snapped his fingers. The next instant, the temperature in the surroundings grew at astonishing speed, and in no time, the terrifying heat transformed into golden flames. There's nothing but sea of flames within the range of his god's domain. Feeling the frightening temperature of the flames, Netero squinted his eyes.
Unbelievable. He transmuted his aura into such high-temperature flames. This is bad.
His worries came true as the high temperature affected him greatly while he began to perspire heavily. Though he was able to resist, for now, he can't persist for long. Blaze waved his hand while part of the flames gathered around to form 9 miniature suns and encircled Netero. Since he planned to fight Netero as soon as he came to the hunter world, of course, he was prepared for his 100-type Guanyin Bodhisattva. Seeing everything in order, Blaze clasped his hand. The next moment, the 9 miniature suns began to revolve at high speed and fired a beam. Each of the beams met at a single point before blasting towards Netero as an immense beam of high temperature. It's not some simple beam, as Blaze channeled all of his nen into the beam to make it more powerful. If Netero manages to block it, his only choice is to burn a drop of his god's blood.
Seeing the attack, Netero didn't dare to be careless as he sensed an extreme destructive power behind the strike.
Forming a prayer sign, he made a new sign. As soon as he did the sign, there was some change in the nen construct.
All the hands of Guanyin Bodhisattva merged together and were finally left with 2 hands.
As Netero pushed his right hand forward, the nen construct did the same to meet the incoming golden beam head-on.
Bang!
The 2 strikes collided to trigger a blinding light followed by an explosion. With his hands in clasping form, Blaze roared while the rotating miniature suns gathered the remaining flames within God's domain and imbued them into the beam. In the distance, Beans, Menchi, Bohara, and Status were watching the battle while keeping a safe distance.
Is this even a fight between humans?
Menchi muttered, gaping at the fight between Blaze and Netero.
What I don't understand is? That man named Blaze seems to be as strong as Chairman Netero. Sadats commented. Chairman Netero won't lose, right? Bohara asked as Netero's old while Blaze is still young. ZZZZ. Blaze's destructive beam melted the hand of Netero's nen construct and blasted forward by piercing it.
Seeing this, Netero pushed his other hand forward while channeling aura to repair the injured hand.
Neither of them showed any weakness while inputting 100% of their aura into the attack. Chapter 178, End of the Battle. Ultimately, Blaze's beam punctured Netero's nen construct and blazed forward, striving to incinerate Netero.
Clearly feeling the destructive energy within the golden beam, Netero jumped back and distanced himself, evading the strike effortlessly.
Boom!
With nowhere and no one to vent, the beam struck the ground where Netero stood last and ruined it down into a huge crater, melting part of the rocks into magma. Blaze let out a long breath as he gazed at Netero. He didn't expect the latter would evade the strike at the last moment, as he thought the other party would use everything to block it. Without a doubt, he misjudged Netero's fighting style.
It's the difference between One Piece world and Hunter world. Fighting Netero is exhausting. His 100-type Guanyin Bodhisattva is powerful. Let's try that trick. Blaze mused and deactivated his god's domain. The next moment, his heat aura returned to its normal state before transmuting into a lightning one that's purple in color. Blaze's entire body sparkled with purple lightning.
This nen ability is similar to Killua's God's Speed, but in terms of power and destructiveness, it's more outstanding than Killua's. To match against Netero's speed and reflex, his only choice is to boost his speed to the latter's level. If he can use his devil fruit powers, it's a different concept.
But for now, he can only resort to this trick.
The only problem is, even he can't use this lightning trick for long, as the level of its destructiveness is enough to injure his physique. Thankfully, with his Senju power, he can heal his cells as soon as they get burned.
Lightning? Seeing Blaze's new ability, Netero was taken aback for a moment before muttering, how many more tricks he has under his sleeve. It seems to be endless.
Netero took his prayer stance while the non-construct that disappeared previously once again reappeared in its 100 type form with no damages. Blaze smiled while he vanished the next moment, making Netero gasp in surprise. But, before the latter could react, Blaze appeared in front and punched him. Netero only had the time to make a simple hand move with his right hand. The non-construct behind him acted instantly and smashed at Blaze with its fist. This time, Blaze was able to react to the strike as his speed is countless times faster than before. Jumping a little, he kicked at the non-construct hand by channeling 50% of his aura to his leg while the other 50% to his fist. His kick destroyed part of Guanyin Bodhisattva's hand, and using the momentum, Blaze pushed towards Netero with his punch aimed at the latter's face. To dodge the strike, Netero had no choice but to back away. It hurt his pride more than anything, as it's the second time that he was forced to move back. After a long time, he felt anger on himself. With his emotions disturbed, an overpowering rin burst from him, stronger than ever. Feeling his aura, Blaze wasn't scared but instead was excited, so he made his move by zipping towards Netero. Clash! They both clashed once again and battled with extreme speed and reflex. After 10 minutes, Blaze finally found the opening that he sought. With quick speed, he bypassed Netero's defense and punched him squarely in the jaw with everything he had. The punch sent Netero flying in the air, and his body dropped some meters away from the initial position. After the strike, Blaze's lightning form disappeared while he dropped to his knees with a burning smell coming out of him. The next moment, his injuries healed on their own while raised to his feet. It's understandable that he was injured, as he's not Killua, who's familiarized with electricity from a small age. He used the power of lightning forcibly. On the other side, Netero also rose to his feet. He had a bruise on his jaw while drops of blood trickled from the corner of his lips. Wiping it away, he spoke. I got old. It would have been good if I met someone of your caliber a few decades back. Blaze shook his head. Chairman Netero, you are strong and a formidable challenger. Don't flatter me. I know you haven't used your full strength. What are you saving it for? Netero stroked his beard and joked in a nonchalant tone. Anyway, it was nice fighting you. Fighting against Netero, Blaze understood how he should spend his time to improve himself. What do you plan on doing next? Netero asked. If possible, he wants to keep Blaze with the Hunter Association and give him some position. A person of Blaze's caliber is no joke, as his strength is simply outstanding. Even so, Netero could tell Blaze isn't a bad person, so he doesn't mind where the other party goes. I'm going to travel the world. We will meet again, soon, Chairman Netero. Saying this, Blaze waved his hand and his coat transformed into a small cloud. As he jumped onto it, little white soared into the sky, disappearing from the view. Looking at the disappearing back of Blaze, Netero sighed. He's so strong at such young age. Where did he pop up from? Why, there's no record of him. At that moment, Beans, Menchi, Buhara, and Saditz approached Netero from the distance. The battle of this level was an eye-opener for them and even made them wonder, can one's strength reach such a level? Chairman, are you okay? Beans asked in a worried tone. When he saw Blaze successfully punching Netero, his heart stopped for a moment, as he's the backbone of the Hunter Association. I am good. Netero nonchalantly replied. Blaze lay on the back of Little White and thought of the battle with Netero. With my current strength, I won't be able to defeat the Ant King without burning some drops of God's blood. Well, there's still a year left before the incident happens. I need to train properly to enhance my Haki and Nen. His next target is Phantom Troop. For that, he just has to be in York New City after 5 months to meet them. In the meantime, he plans to roam the Hunter world. Chapter 179, York New City. An unknown island little away from Hunter mainland. The entire island is raised beyond recognition, with countless deep craters along the surfaces, as if some kind of war had taken place here. Ha! Sound of punching beat reverberated across the island. Sweat leaked from Blaze's entire body and drenched his coat, as he has been practicing his punches nonstop for days. It's been 5 months since his battle with Netero. He traveled to different places of the Hunter continent for 2 months before he came to this island. Since then, he has been training his haki in Nen. After his battle with Netero, he found a way to utilize his power properly by training his strength, reaction, and speed. In these few months, Blaze's constitution rose from 74.8 to 76.8 while his haki attribute grew to 78.5 from 75.4. After finishing his training, Blaze took out the phone he brought and checked the date. It was August 29th. He knew the York New Underground auction will take place on September 1st, so it's time he moves. As he waved his hand, the little white on his shoulder transformed into his cloud form and showered water. Taking a clean bath, Blaze dressed in fresh clothes left the island. York New City. It's a sprawling metropolis located on the Yorbian continent. The annual auction in York New City is the biggest in the world, with trillions of jenny exchanging hands over the course of 10 days. Furthermore, it's home to thousands of auction houses that trade many illegal items. The influence of the mafia in the city is quite high. It didn't take long for Blaze to find Gon, Killua, and Leo Rio, who were surrounded by a crowd of people. Leo Rio hyped to a gathering crowd that the first one to beat Gon in arm wrestling will win a diamond ring worth 3 million. As Killua shows off the reward, Leo Rio tells the crowd that it only costs 10,000 to participate and enthusiastically asks them to come forward. A person in the crowd commented, "He's beaten 150 guys so far. He's gotta be running out of stamina by now. Look, he looks tired and sweating. Don't lose before I get my turn." "Okay, next person, please," Leo Rio yelled. Blaze smiled and stood in a line. After a few minutes, his turn came. When he came forward, Leo Rio, Killua, and Gon stood froze. Before they could speak, he stashed 10,000 jennies in Leorio's hand and walked towards the table, and put his hand out. "Looks like you have gotten strong, Gon. How are you?" Blaze spoke, feeling Gon's strength. "Blaze, where have you been these few months? I tried to contact you but I couldn't reach your number." "Well, I was out of the network area." Struggling for a few seconds, Blaze let Gon beat him and left the table. "Killua, you look good. It looks like you two have successfully learned none." Blaze spoke, looking at Killua. "Gon, we will talk after you guys finish your business." Saying this, Blaze walked away from the crowd and watched from distance. The next moment, he sensed 3 strong auras. Shizuku appeared. "Well, we have our first female challenger." Seeing her, Leo Rio announced. "As expected of the Phantom Troop, they have some strength." Blaze mused, watching the play. Like in the series, Shizuku lost to Gon as she used her right arm instead of her strong left arm. She thanked Gon and left the place. Looking at her leaving figure, Blaze followed. "Finally, I can remove the sea stone scraps in my body." Shizuku may look airheaded, but he knew she's strong and kills innocent people without blinking her eyes. She joined Franklin and Phaeton, who was waiting for her. As they leave chatting among themselves, Blaze followed them. After taking a few turns, the 3 of them reached an alley where there were no people. Suddenly, they turned and confronted Blaze. "Who are you?" Franklin asked. "Nice to meet you, Spiders. My name's Blaze. What do you want?" Phaeton asked while he covered his hand with Nin, ready to end his life with a strike. "I need to remove something from my body. For that, I need her Nin ability." Saying this, Blaze looked at Shizuku. "Die." Without wasting any time, Franklin stretched his hands. His fingers opened and fired aura bullets. Meanwhile, Phaeton too dashed towards him. Blaze sighed, "Seems like we have to do it the hard way," and snapped his finger. The next moment, Phaeton, who was rushing at him, disappeared and appeared in the way of bullets. "What?" Phaeton only had the time to activate his Nin and surround his body. Though Franklin stopped firing the moment he noticed Phaeton, the latter was hit by a quite number of aura bullets. "Phaeton, are you okay?" "I am fine." Phaeton looked at Blaze with his eyes narrowed. He still couldn't comprehend how he was hauled here without any indication. Only at this moment,
the trio understood that they aren't facing a typical foe. The opponent is strong. With tactic understanding, they went into the formation the next second surrounding Blaze.
As you wish. Blaze spread his hand and vanished from the spot. The next moment, he appeared behind Phaeton. Swish, a strike to the back of the neck. Phaeton was knocked unconscious.
Franklin and Shizuku didn't even have time to react.
A sword made of extreme heat formed in Blaze's hand. Positioning the sharp point above Phaeton's heart, he spoke.
"Shall we talk now? What do you want?" Franklin asked, gazing at Phaeton below Blaze's feet.
He still couldn't believe Phaeton, one of the strongest among their ranks, was taken down without any effort.
"You are Shizuku, right?" Blaze asked. "Yes."
Shizuku blinked at Blaze, exhibiting no sign of fear or any emotions.
"I am not an unreasonable person.
Help me to remove something from my body. With your nin ability it won't be a problem."
"Do that. I will leave your friend alive, and as a favor of helping me, I won't kill any of your friends the next time we meet."
"A favor from me is priceless. You should consider this seriously."
Blaze gave his condition. "Okay. I will help you."
Shizuku agreed without thinking much.
Chapter 180. The devil fruit is back. "Shizuku?" Franklin gave her a look. "What if he kills us after getting what he wants?" As if she knows Franklin is thinking, Shizuku spoke in a blunt tone. "He's strong.
We can't beat him with our strength.
Besides, it's just a simple task. Since we are in a hurry, I think it's the correct choice." "Smart." Blaze clapped and asked, "Shall we?"
"Before you start, let me make something clear. If you try to do something funny, your friend here will die horribly." Nodding her head, Shizuku walked towards him and summoned her nen ability.
"Blinky-chan, let's do it."
Looking at the vacuum cleaner that appeared with sharp teeth and tongue, Blaze was intrigued.
It's indeed a rare ability.
Making a small cut on his hand, he said to Shizuku,
"The name of the foreign object in my body is known as sea stone. Blinky-chan, suck up the sea stones in his body." As soon as she commanded, a sucking force came from Shizuku's conjured item. The next moment, Blaze felt some kind of foreign force sucking the sea stone scraps settled in his body.
Within 5 seconds, all the sea stone scarps were removed from his body.
Sensing the familiar power coursing through his body once again, Blaze clenched his fist. "My devil fruit power is back." At that moment, Franklin and Shizuku felt a frightening pressure radiating from Blaze. Out of reflex, Shizuku leaped back to maintain distance from him. "What have we done? Who is he?" Franklin thought, feeling the presence and experiencing terror just standing before Blaze. After a few seconds, Blaze came out of his thoughts and looked at Shizuku. "Thank you. I owe you one." Saying that, Blaze disappeared from their view, leaving Phaeton unharmed.
Hotel where Gon, Killua, and Leo Rio stays.
Blaze met them after the three finished the arm wrestling for the day.
What they earn can't get them anywhere near to buy the gaming console of Greed Island. He's also interested in the Greed Island.
Unlike Gon and Killua, he knew a tryout for Greed Island players will be held by Tsezgara on September 10th. Blaze. Seeing him again, Gon was happy. "Since you guys learned Nin, want to play a little?" Blaze asked, looking at Gon and Killua. "Good." Gon answered with excitement, balling his fist.
Though Killua didn't answer, his eager eyes filled with fighting intent revealed his true thoughts.
"Leo Rio, what about you?" Blaze asked.
Waving his hand, he answered. "Though I learned Nin, I am not very proficient at it." After having a nice dinner, they went to an open ground where there's no one to disturb them.
"Show me your Rin," Blaze asked with his hands behind the back. Gon and Killua looked at each other before bursting with a powerful aura. Though they just learned Nin basics, their aura is steady and vigorous. Such talent! Blaze sighed.
With their potential, another 10 years or maybe even less, their Rin will reach his level. He was truly astonished. "What you two learned till now is just basics and you have a long way to go." Saying this, Blaze showed a part of Ren that forced Gon and Killua to jump some meters back. When he then channeled the burst of Ren to his right fist, a golden spherical bubble took shape. Not only that, as his Nin concentrated on his fist, it began to affect the surroundings as everything within 100 meters began to crack and tremble. Feeling his power, Gon showed a thrilling expression while Killua revealed a look of horror.
He's far stronger than I thought. I don't think even Grandpa is his match, Killua thought. As soon as he cancelled the Nen channel to his fist, Gon ran towards him and asked, "Blaze, can you teach us then?" "No. I am not good at teaching stuff."
"You will meet someone better who will systematically teach the advanced Nun."
"Oh." Gon looked disappointed. To distract him, Blaze asked, "What are you guys doing recently?"
As soon as he asked this question, Gon began to speak about the Greed Island game and how they are struggling to gather enough money to buy it.
Blaze didn't intend on helping Gon, as he knew sometimes a journey is much more important than simply reaching the destination,
as it would give them precious memories, the experience they need, and the kinds of hurdle they pass to reach the end.
"Don't worry, you will eventually get what you want if you put in your efforts. I will be here in the York New. You can call me if you need any help."
After chatting with them for some time, Blaze prepared to leave as he planned to watch the game between spiders and shadow beasts. When he arrived at the location of the underground auction, the spiders have already killed the people and Shizuku disposed of the bodies, leaving no traces behind. After that, everything went as happened in the series, with no surprise.
The Mafia shot down the Phantom Troops' hot air balloon and surrounded them. Unfortunately, they were no match for Yuvajin's brute strength.
At that moment, 4 of the shadow beasts appeared: Worm, Rabid Dog, Leech, and Porcupine. But as expected, they too died at the hands of Yuvajin.
Meanwhile, Kurapika and his comrades from the Nostrade family watched the confrontation from afar.
They were stunned by the power that Yuvajin displayed and scared to approach him.
Except Kurapika. Kurapika took a shot and successfully captured Yuvajin under the eyes of other spiders.
After watching the battle between spiders and other shadow beasts, Blaze got bored and returned to the hotel he reserved for a few days. Though everyone in Shadow Beasts had unique Nin ability, they were no match for spiders whose strength and combat experience are leagues above them. At first, he thought of meeting spiders and playing with them for a bit, but after seeing and experiencing their strength in person, he lost the mood.
With his current strength, none of them is his match.
If they attack him together, he may feel something and won't get bored. That wraps up this part of What If Transmigrated into One Piece and became a Marine.
Thanks so much for listening.
As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well.
See you in the next one.